Good morning, Giants. Welcome to Wake Up with Giants TV. I'm Ryan Morris. Have you ever wondered about numerology? I have. Good morning, Giants. Welcome to Wake Up with Giants TV. I am Ryan Morris. Ryan the Morris. I'm Ryan the Morris. Still early, apparently. Oh my gosh. Well, Nick Smith is still on vacation, just enjoying sunny California. I am not on vacation, not enjoying sunny California, but I have my caffeine. Mm. So, a little bit more of that, and we'll be ready to go. So numerology. I have in the past I've never been one that was big on numerology. In fact, probably up until about maybe 2 years ago, I good morning. I was not much of a believer in that, and in fact, I would have probably said that you were crazy. So sorry, everyone. I don't think you're as crazy anymore. So that's good. Uh, I, uh, I was going through this time period and this awakening, like this moment of enlightenment. I don't know what you want to call it, but it was just this time in my life where I started to question more things and wonder what was next and what was right for me. And I had my grandma pass away, and um, I mean, which is sad, but I kept feeling her presence and kept wondering, like, uh, I don't know, it was an interesting time period. I actually had asked a what are they called, a medium, some questions about spirits, spirit guides, that kind of thing. Trying to look into a crystal ball and get all the answers, and started thinking about different things about God and the universe, and ran across numerology. And just so that you know, like I believe in God, and that there's universal laws, and me personally that there's an afterlife, but you might not. That's okay. So you can just listen to this and hear my experience and smile and whatever. It's all good. But as I was working along, um, and yes, Hugh, I definitely have asked God, but I just was curious about some different things. So I am a praying type of person as well. So, but I was just wondering about, and part of that in that experience was asking God, and just some different questions that I had, and I'm not going to go into all of those there, but I do believe that there are angels and spirits and people that are there to lift you up and guide you and help you along your path. And so, in fact, the other day, I I get, I don't know, number hits pretty much every day now. For a while, it stopped. I didn't get anything. I had nothing. I got no hits, no nothing, no support. It was kind of interesting. It was this period where I was going through a little bit of a rough spot, and I think that maybe I wasn't on the right path, and so somebody wanted me to know about that. But a couple of things that I started doing, I started reaching out to coaches and some people, and talking about where I was at and what I was doing and where I was going, and to do a little bit of reflecting on myself and try to see the blind spots, because sometimes when you're going through life, um, it's easy to ignore the things that you suck at. It's easy to ignore the things that maybe I don't know, maybe you want to ignore, and they're the things that are holding you back or that are holding you down, or helping you reach your giant potential. So there was areas in my life where I was playing as a giant, where I was being giant and showing up for other people and showing up for myself. But then there was other areas in my life where I couldn't see those blind spots, but I knew that there was some weaknesses. I just didn't know exactly what they were, and so I had to ask some questions and talk to some people. But one of those people was I got the opportunity to meet with Steve Hardison. It was just for a little bit. Steve Hardison is known as the ultimate coach in the industry. Good morning. And I I had to create it. So Steve offered the opportunity to show up to Santa Monica. He was going on a road trip, and he threw out, "Hey, if anybody wants to be there, here he is. There he is, right there. Thank you, Steve. Um, if anybody wants to be there, let me know. We'll create it." And I didn't know exactly how. I didn't plan on being in Santa Monica. I had planned on being in Las Vegas during that time period. I thought, hey, well, Las Vegas is a lot closer to Santa Monica than Salt Lake, so I'm going to take him up on his offer, and I'm going to figure out how to be in his path on his Top Hat tour. And I'd seen Steve Hardison post about his wall that he has. If you've never seen that, go check out Steve Hardison. Find him on Facebook and go to theultimatecoach.com. And there you can see reviews. You can see people that have talked about him and his coaching, and kind of immerse yourself in that experience and be able to see the wall that he has at his house. Um, and so it's an 1111 wall. Um, and so it's about manifesting. It's about creating. And I started to believe more and more into those things. And um, I I've been able to have um, moments where I've been able to meet with people and have experiences where I saw the numerology and the creation work for me, because we are creators. We are uh, divine beings. We are children of God. We're people that we're human, and we're here for a human experience. But we are creators. We are so powerful, more powerful than we will ever, I guess, probably ever realize in this particular life. Oh, my wife says I'm amazing. That's very nice of you. I appreciate that. And anyway, along the way, Amber and I went and got to meet with Steve Hardison, and what an experience. And hey, guess what? Nick Smith was in Santa Monica, uh, back at Dulcinero. Um, I think that's how you say it. Gelato. Got to meet right there and spend some time. And in fact, we probably spent a good hour plus with Steve, which um, that's worth a lot of money. If you coach with Steve Hardison, that's a lot of time. And so, Steve, I appreciate that, because that right there forever changed my life and the course of where I was going and what I was doing. So, back to numerology real quick. Um, yes, and Amber says it was amazing to meet him. He's a great man. Something about him, just a different aura, and the way that he shows up for people and loves people no matter what, listens to them, and then can help them reflect on where they're at and see things from a different perspective, which is what coaches should do: see things from a different perspective. And calling him a coach is not really, I don't know, it's almost demeaning, because he's much more than that. So anyway, you just have to experience Steve Hardison. So numerology. So getting into it, I want you to, if you have a chance, go to YouTube and find "The Feeling Is the Secret." It's by Neville Goddard. I believe that's how you say his name. "The Feeling Is the Secret." So have a chance to, if you have a chance to go there, check it out. There's one that's about an hour long. It's a complete recording. I went and bought the book, and in fact, I read it yesterday, no, Tuesday, while I was at work. I do too. I love Neville. So if you have a chance, go do that because I think it will change your life. Yes, the feeling is the secret. So go check it out if you have a chance. But I read it at work, and I've read it a couple of times. Uh, I've heard Steve Hardison talk about it quite a bit, and amongst many, many others. And I'm still learning and still growing into this. But um, it talks about how some of the things to do is to get into the feeling of already having or already being what you want to have or be. The subconscious mind is the most powerful thing. So, and I'm not going to ruin it for you because I want you to go do the work. I want you to go and spend the time and think about what's possible for you, how you can change, how you can grow, because that's a very personal thing, and you're going to have to ask yourself some questions and reflect, and you may have to then uh, ask others for some help, seeing your blind spots, seeing things from a new perspective. And so, but I want you to go listen to that or go buy the book. I bought it. It was called 1944. The Feeling is the Secret by Neville Goddard. He does talk about inside of that the two the biggest things you can do in creation and manifestation is prayer and sleep. So, and then he talks about um, the way of prayer, and not just going through the motions of praying, but how to really get into the feeling of it, and then sleep. Which, as you know, most of you that have watched me over the last while, sleep and I have had an interesting relationship, and um, I'm working on that for sure. And guess what, man, Cherry? This isn't the replay. This is live. What? You thought you got the replay because I came on late. Tricked you guys. Anyway, I love you and it's good to see you. Thank you for joining us. And but anyway, holding that feeling in the subconscious mind is it, and it is a practice. It definitely is something daily to work on. So great job on doing that. I wanted to share just a couple of things because the other day I started seeing numbers on my phone as I had reached out to that medium and was asking questions about my spirit guides. So someone else came and approached me about numerology, and I actually thought they were kind of crazy, or maybe they approached Nick. I remember now. Okay, so we used to meet at a coffee shop, and we would go there every Monday and Thursday night, I believe. We would show up and work on this. We'd work on the giants and the smalls. We'd work on how to grow this stuff. And isn't that interesting how that works out? Divine timing, right? Just bought the book. Good job. And we were sitting in this coffee shop, and somebody had introduced Nick to numerology. There was a numerology test that you could take, and then it would go through and sort out a bunch of things and tell you about who you were. And I thought it was hokey until I took the test just to kind of appease Nick a little bit. And holy crap, the way that it described me of being and how I operated and um, a lot of my characteristics, I was kind of thrown back about it. And um, yeah, it was pretty interesting stuff to watch that and to see. And so I was like, huh, that's interesting. Maybe there's more to it than I know. And then as I was doing things, I started noticing numbers more often. And I'm not a real big sign seeker of, hey, show me that this is true by showing me this sign. That's not necessarily me. As I've been doing things and I pay attention and I'm more aware, I catch some of these signs, and I take them more as a communication that I'm on the right path, that or not. Sometimes it says I'm not on the right path. But yesterday I got a 444, and for those of you who know this stuff, you'll know it better than me, and I'm just going to paraphrase because there's lots of different meanings inside of these, and you can go look them up. Willow Soul is a pretty good place to check if you haven't Googled these. You could just Google, hey, what's the meaning of 444 or 1111 or 111 or 333, 222? But usually they come in synchronistic type numbers like groups. Um, you could even look up like double digits and triple digits and multiple, seeing multiple digits in a row like 10, 10, 12, 12, things like that. Um, and so 444 was the number of protection and encouragement. It's a sign that you're currently following the right path. So there you go. So that was nice to know. And as I was moving forward and stepping into um, who I am supposed to be, it was so nice to be able to see stuff like that. Um, and so anyway, and I know some people don't believe in it, and that's totally fine. It's no big deal. It's not a big deal at all. You don't have to believe in it. I don't care if you believe in it one way or another, really. If it helps you, then fantastic. If it doesn't help you, throw it out. I don't care. It's not then it's not for you. But it's where I'm at, and so um, oh yes, I would say very much yes. Good morning. And anyway, then I had a 333 yesterday. The universe is behind you is essentially what a 333 means. There's a lot more to it than that as well. And I had 1010. So the universe and your celestial team of angels and spirit guides want you to be aware that 1010 is a sign of action and forward movement. So there we go. That's what I had. You could look up different numbers. I get a lot of 555. In fact, in the book, The Giants and the Smalls, if you haven't read that, that's what Nick and I were creating. Well, he wrote the book, but it wasn't in a book format when him and I met, and none of this existed, as it were, until we started working through some things. And so, um, yeah, inside of the book, there's a scene, and it's right right there. There's the clock. See my thumb going into the clock, right there. That has 555 in it. It's a number of change. It talks about staying positive, confident, aware of everything that happens within your inner being. This is very fitting to what I was talking about with the feeling is a secret. It says, no matter what life throws at you, the most important thing is your state of being. The truth is that your state of being creates your circumstance and not the other way around. Wow. Isn't that powerful? Your state of being creates your circumstance, not the other way around. So I've heard it said that circumstances are are rulers of the weak and tools to the wise. So there you go. Maybe that's what it's talking about in that quote. And I don't know who that. Maybe I made it up. I don't know. I don't remember where exactly I heard that. But circumstances are rulers of the weak and tools to the wise. Yeah, there are no coincidences. Definitely no coincidences. Um, and so, thank you, Carrie. Hugh says 333, favorite amount of anything. That's the Holy Trinity, right? There you go. That God does care about you. He does know you. That there are universal laws. That we're here for an experience, and um, also to help others along their path. We can't live their life. We can't do things for them. We can't, as it relates to the book, we can't go through their journey, but we can be there. I know Hugh goes step by step and side by side with lots of people, um, people that have made some choices that have led to some difficult consequences, but they're coming out of those and they're working on it. And Hugh is an amazing person. He's somebody that definitely is using his time, talents, and possessions to help other people, and that is an amazing thing. Alex, how are you, brother? Good to see you. 100%, man. You're doing it too. There's people that are showing up, and people that are waking up to their giant potential. And there's too many that don't know, that don't feel worthy, and don't understand the power the abilities that they have, the talents that they have, that the world needs them, that they were created for a reason. Um, as we went down to southern Utah and we sat there with kids, and Nick would ask them, and some of you have heard this before, so I apologize for it again, but some haven't. So we would go into schools, and Nick would talk to the little kids, and one of the first things he would say was, "Who feels like a giant today?" And a handful of kids would raise their hand, and some would take it so literal. Like there was always some 6 foot something uh, gigantic kid in the room. In one classroom, there was this girl, and girls, typically aren't super super tall. My wife's tall. Um, I'm not tall, um, but they would take it literal, and so there would be this giant inside like this third grade class that was 6 feet tall, and you're like, whoa, like you are a literal giant. But um, as Nick would explain to them what a giant was, or what a giant is, or what a giant does, how a giant, um, how they be, and that they were giants. That although they might feel small some days, which we all do, that they have giant potential, that they can be, do, or have anything, and breathe some life back into their souls, and then their bodies, and in their minds and their imaginations about being able to accomplish what the things that they want to accomplish. That the how to doesn't necessarily have to look perfect. Doesn't. That you could still get to where you want to go, even through some difficult circumstances. And then we would ask them at the end, who feels like a giant today, and get every hand to come up. Once they understood who they were, then they would raise their hand. And so maybe that's some of my journey, is my goal is to help you to wake up to your giant potential. I see you as a giant. And for those of you that are showing up, that are living into that potential, to do the same for others, I know that those of you that are on here, I see you. You are doing it. Keep doing it. Understand the power of creation and manifestation and what you can accomplish. We need you. We definitely do need you. So if you start seeing those things and are more aware, um, of the numerology and the feelings inside, um, the universe will send you feelings of love and support and encouragement. He'll send others into your life. Here's one right here that's come into my life. Here's another one. Here's another one. Carrie, you're up there. I got to scroll up. There's another one that have come into my life as I've stepped forward into my uh, my purpose, which my purpose is to help other people as I help myself. Put the mask on, right? First, is if you've ever flown on a plane and they tell you put the oxygen mask on yourself, and then help others do the same thing. And that is a purpose I have, is to do exactly that, is to help myself grow, to look at my weaknesses and my blind spots and grow into a giant, as I'm doing that, to turn around and help other people along the way, because they're worthy and they're worth it. Thank you, Maureen. Thank you. And so, yeah, go make it a giant day. Go bless somebody else's life. Thanks, Hugh, brother. You're amazing. Yes, Carrie. I don't even have to do a show. I'll just hit the comments as we go along. You guys could do it from the comments. You guys are so amazing. I love you freaking people. You are amazing. See? I love you. Love you too. Uh go make it a giant day. Go bless somebody else's life. Go go contemplate. Go think about where you're at, what you're doing. Go get Neville Goddard's The Feeling is the Secret. It's powerful stuff. Go do whatever gets you into that feeling, that good positive feeling of already having what you want to have, already being what you want to be, and then start being it. It's pretty amazing stuff. Go make it a giant day. Love you too.